Hey guys, my name is Anthony and in today's video I'm going to be talking over WOR round 4 at China. So if you want to see more League Race highlight content similar to this, make sure to hit the like button and stick around by subscribing to the channel. So getting into this round, as you guys know, I've been in a huge slump recently and it still continues. I don't know what's going on, but my League Racing season on F1 2020 just hasn't really been good at all. So coming into this race, I just wanted to at least try and push for points, which is kind of sad to say at the moment, you know, the fact that I'm pushing just to get a few points, but it is what it is right now. And as you can see, we're on the first lap and I don't know what happened, to be honest with you guys, when it came to this qualifying. This is probably one of the worst qualifying sessions I've ever had. I practiced literally just before this and I was doing, you know, mid to high 29s and I just couldn't even do a low 30. So what I'm going to do is just talk over this lap and sort of talk about where I felt I could have improved, I guess, but the lap felt pretty good. So coming up to turn 1, you want to turn in just after the 50-meter board and then start braking as you're coming in towards the curb. Make sure you stay out quite wide, a little bit wider than this, and you're probably going to want to stick in second gear. The reason why I went down to first is because I only had 2 on my front wing and it was causing a little bit of understeer when I used second gear, so I did go down into first. And then coming up to turn 6, I believe, brake at the 100-meter board, down into first gear, hug that curb there and try to get the best exit you can. Obviously we don't get the greatest exit there, so we lose a lot of time. Coming up to this, you want to shift up to 7th and take it completely flat out. And then this one, you want to start braking as you're coming in towards the curb. Stick towards the curb in 4th gear and then just before the grey patch, shift down once into 3rd gear and try to get the traction down as soon as you can. And then coming up to this next corner now, 7th gear at the 100-meter board, down into 3rd gear. Try and hook the curbs up nicely there and then start short shifting. I think you should short shift up to 5th gear, maybe even 6th gear, depending on, you know, if you end up getting a little bit loose on exit there. And then you've got this long 1 kilometer straight. And at this point, I was looking at the time and I was just thinking, what is going on here? I was losing so much time compared to what I was doing in practice, and I generally just couldn't understand why, because I was doing the exact same things, I had the exact same setup, nothing changed. So I was really perplexed. But coming into the final corner now, we didn't take it the best, could have gotten a lot more curb in on that final corner, but we did a 30.4, which is really slow. And as you can see, our teammate ended up in P8, we ended up in P18 I believe. And then coming up to the formation lap now, and just as we were finishing up the formation lap, I turn around from this corner and we get booted from Xbox Live apparently. So this is something that's a problem with the Codemasters game, and honestly it is very frustrating. Esports is literally just around the corner and there is still way too many bugs on this game, so I don't know what Codemasters are doing right now, but they really need to get it fixed. So as you can see, we ended up coming into the race, there's already been 2 laps done, so we missed 2 laps. Somehow we ended up actually gaining positions. We started in P15 when we joined back, and as you can see, I wasn't expecting, because there was no red lights, which there usually is, I wasn't expecting to be given the control from the game, so we ended up losing the position to Gibby, I believe. So that was a little bit frustrating, but there's not much I could do. So at that point, I just put my head down and started going to work. So for the race strategy, obviously because I couldn't show you it, I started in P18 and we're doing a hard to medium strategy, which I'm going to be pitting around about lap 17. So I'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into it. So as we come up to lap 7 now, I wanted to sort of talk about yesterday's video, which I will leave at the top right hand side of the screen, which was basically a new series that I've come up with where I take a look at a stint, and it could be any stint, it could be my stint, it could be somebody else's stint during the race, and I sort of just analyze it and see, you know, where they could improve, why they made certain decisions during certain times at the race, and just overall show critical laps within a stint so it can help improve myself and you guys' racecraft. So as you can see right now, Adam Dude just got the position on us, and the person behind us is his teammate Amazed, and right now Amazed is actually the net leader of this race. So I was planning on letting them through because obviously we're not in the same battle and I don't want to lose time battling for a position I know that I'm not going to keep, but at the same time I didn't want to slow down the car and make it super easy for them to get past and lose a lot of time for myself. So the way I saw it was, if they ended up passing me, they ended up passing me, but I'm not going to just let them pass me, you know, just off of my own will really. But coming up to turn 6 now, We were taking it pretty nicely for most of the race, but as you can see, I sort of bowled it there. And at that point, I decided, okay, I've lost a little bit of time, and Maze is probably going to dive down the inside, which is exactly what he did. So I just decided to stick towards the outside and just let him pass. However, I never let Presto pass because, again, I'm not going to exactly make it super easy for them, but we're not really in the same race, so I'm not going to hold them up too much. So coming up to the lap 10 now, actually, we did skip, and at this point I think Presto was trying to get past. I didn't actually realize he was on the inside until I saw the red arrow there, so I stayed towards the outside, and I just tried to hug the curb and tried to get the best exit I could. And at that point I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm just gonna let him pass going into turn 6, because again, we're not in the same race, so there's no point in really trying to hold him up and lose time for me and for him as well, I guess. So moving on to lap 12 now. I think we stay for a little bit and then we move on to lap 12. At lap 12 I could start feeling the tires coming to life. As you can see, we did a green sector 1 as Adam Dude on the mediums decided to pit. We did do a red sector 2, and as you can see, we're very consistent in our pace. Even up to lap 12 we're still just constantly putting in 35s. So at this point I was thinking to myself, this is actually going pretty well. We hadn't got a warning yet and our pace is looking pretty good. So you know, I was definitely feeling confident within my own driving. I didn't really know how everyone else was performing at this point, but I was very confident in my own driving, which, you know, usually isn't the case when I do some of these races on F1 2020, which is actually probably one of the reasons why I've not been performing the way that I have been. So hopefully if I can start to show more confidence similar to this and show that confidence in quali, we can start really pushing ourselves up the field in WOR. But moving on to lap 13 now, I just wanted to show you guys just the amount of consistency we were having. Even up to lap 13, still only a 10th down on my personal best. Lap 14 we come through from the final corner, and once again only a couple of tenths slower than our personal best, as our pit window ended. Our pit window started there actually, but I decided to wait until lap 17. I saw that Raikkonen was going into the pits, and I believe he was the person who was actually in front of us in terms of general position. So as soon as he pit, I decided I wanted to respond to that, just to try and soften the undercut, because the undercut is a lot more powerful than the overcut around here. So I decided I'm gonna respond to him. I actually was gonna wait until maybe lap 19 and really just push the hard tires as much as I could, but at this point I was like, no, he's pitting, so I'm going to pit this lap. And as you can see, we went green in sector 1, so even after 17 laps on these tires, we're still going faster. Going into sector 2, still green. So our consistency, again, the confidence was just showing, and I really wish that we had qualified in a better position than we did, because if we had qualified in a better position and we were showing this amount of confidence, probably could have made a better position than what we ended up getting in today's race. So as we break to go towards the pits now, at this point I was like, that was a really good stint. So if I was performing that well on the hard tires, I really wanted to push on the medium tires, and I thought I was probably going to come around P13. As you can see, there's only 15 drivers left in the race, but as you can see, we're in P9 as Raikkonen passes us, and our teammate is behind us, but he's also in the pits. So at this point I came out of the pits and I was in P9, and I was thinking to myself, okay, this is very interesting, because I generally thought that I was probably going to come out at P13, P14, but I came out in P9, so the guys behind us clearly had a lot of issues going on. Maybe they had a few spins or a few crashes or something like that. But moving on to lap 20 now, this is when we decided to really start pushing our way just to try and catch Raikkonen, really, because he was pretty quick on the medium tires as well. So if I could somehow catch him up and start battling with him, I think he was only 6 seconds away from the people in front of him, and he was quickly catching them up. So yeah, you know, my goal at this point was just to try and catch Raikkonen, who was trying to catch the guys ahead of him. So as we come up to the end of sector 1, again going green, we just continue to go quicker. But as we move on to the end of the fastest lap that we did, coming up to the final corner, braking once the fence starts, you want to catch as much of that curb as possible. We catch a little bit too much and have a little bit of a squiggle on the exit, but we end up getting a 33.8 or 33.9 I believe. And after that fastest lap, it pretty much was a stalemate between me and Raikkonen, but Raikkonen had ended up catching up the guys ahead a little bit, and yeah, again, it was just a stalemate between me and Raikkonen. I couldn't catch Raikkonen, and the guys behind me were obviously quite a long way away. So it was pretty much just me driving by myself towards the end of the race. But I had a good race. The consistency was there. We didn't gain a single warning, even though we go wide here. We didn't gain a single warning, but we ended up in 9th place, which finally we end up with points. So I was pretty happy that we finally ended up with some points. It was only 2 points because we came in 9th place, but at the end of the day, with the amount of struggling that we've had in this opening season on F1 2020, it feels really good to finally get some points on the board. So hopefully this is the start of us trying to claw our way up the leaderboard when it comes to WOR, because I feel as if WOR is, the pace around here is very quick in my tier compared to what I can personally do. So hopefully, you know, we start to showcase our talent a little bit more. And in TSRO, I'm hoping that what happened on Friday doesn't happen again. It just really went poorly that first race, so I'm hoping that's not something that continues to go on, because I really want to stream good content for you guys, and what happened on Friday just wasn't great. So I'm going to finish off the video here. If you want to see more league racing highlight content, make sure to hit the like button and stick around by subscribing to the channel. I stream on Tuesdays at 8 PM BST and Fridays at 8 PM BST, and I also make highlight videos like this. So I'll see you guys in the next video.